Good morning. My name is Captain Wayne Harris. I'm with the Rochester, New York Police Department.
And my name is Chris Delaney. I'm the Director of Business Intelligence for the Rochester Police Department.
We're here today to talk to you about our Smart Policing initiative and to give you an overview of what we have planned and where we're going from this point forward. Rochester, New York is a centrally located city. It sits on the southern shore of Lake Ontario, between the cities of Buffalo and Syracuse, with a population of roughly 210,000, with a metropolitan area of roughly 1 million people. Rochester has the distinction of having its fair share of violent crime, and what we have found is that statistics show that much of this crime and much of the violence that we're seeing seems to be directly related to disputes of some sort. Those disputes can be gang-related, they can be geographic in nature, they can be domestic in nature. So our initiative is a multi-phase initiative, but essentially it's to develop an assessment tool and provide a tool for officers and command staff to address disputes, first identify those we believe may be ripe for further violence or further retaliation, and to develop a response strategy to address that.
So we've been working with Dr. John Clofus and the Center for Public Safety Initiatives at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, for the better part of 10 years, and we've engaged in a number of strategies over time, focusing on violent crime generally, crime hotspots, gangs, and so the work that we're doing in smart policing is really a natural extension, an evolution of the work that we've done over the last 10 years to understand the nature of violent crime. And one thing that's been very clear to us during that time, and as we've learned more, is there are really limited opportunities for intervention in firearm violence. There's only so many ways that you can approach it. And particularly in the issue of dispute-related violence, there's so many instances that are exclusively of a short-term nature that give very few opportunities for police to intervene. However, there are a number of events in which the violent event was preceded by some kind of precipitating event that initiated a sequence of violent retaliatory disputes. And we've anecdotally noted this pattern. It is something that, as a regular practice, our Crime Analysis Center engages in analytical work on a daily basis, looking at every single shot fired, whether it is a fatal, non-fatal shooting, whether it is simply a discharge of a firearm, to understand who was the target, what was the target, was there any previous incident that initiated this shooting to happen, and on an ad hoc basis, we've been fairly effective at trying to unpack what we found out to have been a sequence of retaliatory events between two groups, two individuals, that plays out over the course of multiple incidents that were either known or unknown to police. And many times we'll have a situation where we have a shooting, we learn through both informants, concerned citizens, chatter on Facebook, that this shooting is a byproduct of a beef that started over a month ago when two guys got into a fight at a club, and then there was another two discharges of weapons where someone was shooting into somebody else's house that was part of the feud, and it continued on, ultimately resulting in the shooting. So it seems to us that there's clear opportunities for intervention in these kinds of sequences. What we don't have is a great understanding of what makes one particular retaliatory dispute more risky than another for various kinds of violence. Because as we have anecdotally and on an ad hoc basis attempted to respond to these kinds of problems, we often find ourselves in the middle of July having identified 6 or 7 retaliatory feuds where our inclination is to do a full court press on with all available resources to get in between the two warring parties to prevent this thing from going on. But as is the case in everyone's jurisdiction in the middle of the summer, there's rarely the resources necessary to make a full court press on 6 or 7 major retaliatory feuds. So we need to get a better handle from an operational perspective on how we best allocate our resources to ensure that we're focusing on the disputes that have the highest likelihood of continued retaliatory violence. And so our project is really two phases, or a multi-phase approach, I should say. The first part is looking at 3 years worth of shooting data with RIT to get a handle on exactly what are the notable risk factors for continued retaliatory violence, and out of that, building a risk assessment instrument that we can use on an operational level at the line to determine whether or not this particular dispute that's identified has a high, medium, or low risk for ongoing retaliatory violence. From there, we will develop a strategy that is tailored, where various responses are tailored to the low, medium, high risk levels, so that we can most efficiently allocate our resources to intervene in these retaliatory disputes while minimizing as much as possible our resource impact and ensuring that we're efficiently allocating resources to these disputes but still effectively intervening in them.